Hey everybody, it's Jeff Crutch with Over the Bars podcast. Right now, you'd hear me going on about our patreon.com/overthebars pledge option where you can go to our Patreon and pledge towards the show. We have different tiers for you to pledge. So like, let's say you really love our product. You want to give us $2 a month. And in return, we're going to send you some stickers. And you continue to help support our show. But we're actually donating all of our earnings that we've made so far, which is a small, but it's better than nothing, $60. And those have come from Hunter Clements and Ethan Sloniker, those pledges. So right now what we're going to do is divert you towards a GoFundMe page for a local Missouri State motocross racer. His name is Josh Mast. He was injured last weekend at Kingsville, one of the gnarliest crashes I've ever seen. And Josh is in need of some help. Anytime that there's a catastrophic injury to somebody, they're going to need help with their financial situations. So go to fundraiser.com/fundraiser-for-Josh-Mast. Or I'm sure just from Google, you could type in Josh Mast fundraiser for the GoFundMe. Mike's laughing at me right now because I can't speak, but whatever. The point is, don't give us any money this week because we want all of our listeners to donate to Josh. He's in need. He's literally in surgery right now. He has some tears in his spinal cord. We're hearing good reports, bad reports. We'll get into that later, but go to GoFundMe and donate to Josh Mast. We'll be sure to post the link for that on our OTB podcast Facebook and then from Mike and I's personal accounts. So don't worry about our Patreon. Worry about that next week. This week, we want to see some money roll into Josh's GoFundMe. As of right now, the GoFundMe has been in order for 4 hours and a total donation of $2,415 by 29 people. I want to see that doubled within the next 48 hours. So if you can help a fellow motocross racer, I know we've got racers and listeners in America, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, Mexico, all across the world. Guys, pull a international motocross come together and let's get our buddy back into as good of shape as he possibly can. That's GoFundMe fundraiser for Josh Mast. You'll find it on our Facebook again one more time. And just keep the love going for the motocross community. You know, we really like to see our friends get better, after a major crash. And it's one of those things where we know that it's going to happen. It's going to happen to somebody at some point. And right now, Josh, and his family are going to need all of us to come together. So one more time, GoFundMe, Josh Mast, fundraiser for Josh Mast. Donate as much as you can, and let's get a motocross racer back on track.
Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
Hey, Dan, ready for the game? I'm just finishing up here with my new kayaking friends.
Kayaking friends on your computer?
Yeah, I just got America Online.
OTB, 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 over the
We're here. We're live.
Does that get you jazzed every time you hear
It
that?
really does. It does get me jazzed.
I love that intro.
Yes. I got an intro for you. Ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, I'm Mike Garris, along here with my co-host, your 250A Round 1 Missouri State Championship Series winner, Jeff Crutcher.
And the fans go wild.
Jeff, how long has it been? How long has it been since you won a Missouri State race?
Okay, are we talking motos or are we talking overalls?
What really matters at the end of the day?
The overalls.
That's what we're talking about.
The last time that I won a Missouri State pro class overall was 2007. I don't even know what track it was, but I do know that I won one time an overall in 2007. That was the last time because I started riding Kawasaki's in 2008 and I sucked on them. But I had, you know what? It may have been Buffalo.
Oh, I liked that place.
Yeah.
That was a good place.
I think it was Buffalo. I think I went 1-3 in 250. Yeah, because, okay, so I remember that weekend specifically because I went 1-2 in the first motos and then 3 and 10 in the second motos. But I got the overall with the 1-3 by some miracle.
I ate it super hard at Buffalo.
Justin Cagney almost won a moto there that day.
Really?
Yeah, the moto that I got 10th. He pulled the whole shot and just started to check out and then tanked.
Only track I've ever been to. Do you remember the bridge across the creek? Had no rails on the side. It was a wooden bridge.
Hold on, is that before the rollers?
Yes.
Yeah. No, there was a tabletop before the rollers. Remember,
Okay.
you do the left, the horseshoe, come down the hill,
Okay.
table.
Right before you go up the hill, there was a bridge.
Okay.
Rode straight off that bridge.
You did?
Into the creek. Nobody found me.
And was there a lot of sawdust down in the bottom there?
Of the creek?
Yeah.
No, there was rocks.
Brutal.
It was.
So it's been 10 years since I won a Missouri State overall.
Does this mean... Oh, you're the points leader now. You are the Eli Tomac of the Missouri State Championship Series. No, actually, you're right. You're starting out on top.
No, actually, I'm the Ken Roxon.
No, don't ever put yourself in that... Now you can't go to... What did Ken get hurt at? What round?
The third race? Was it the third race? I can't remember. What? Okay, yeah, which was the third race, correct? Yeah.
So you have to go to round 2, win, skip round 3, and come back for round 4.
That's right.
Are you going to round 2?
Casey Moto, baby.
May 7th.
Yes, sir.
Are you going?
Yes.
Where are you going to go if you didn't win?
Yeah, I was going to Casey Moto regardless. I don't know what races after that, honestly. But I will say this much. In the last, 36 hours, or let's say 48. That'd be better. In the last 48 hours, the amount of thoughts that I have in my head of, man, maybe I got a shot at this, which I haven't thought about in 10 years. I'm going to make a bid at the Missouri State Series, which, I told you about my calendar that I have on my phone. Most of the races in that calendar are for the Best of the Midwest Series. I actually only had 2 Missouri State races in there because I was like, screw it, I'm not going to do the Missouri State Series. I've been doing it forever.
I noticed when you walked in the door, you came in like sideways. Your head was so big, you couldn't come straight on. You had to turn sideways.
I came in through the garage door, actually.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But, I mean, it's interesting how I had no interest in doing the Missouri State Series until now. And sure enough, here I am. I'm like, well, I'm third in points in the 450 class and second in the 250A class. And I'm thinking, well, I'll go to KC Moto and give it the old college try. And if that keeps going, if I walk out of there with the points lead in the 250 class, then maybe I'll just take it week by week. And plus, it's a 12-round series, and you only have to do 8 of them to win, the title at the end of the year.
Is there any advantage to do other than just having a better chance at better finishes? Is there any advantage to doing 12? Somebody that runs 12 but gets 6th every time, are they going to finish better? Like, do they count all 12 if you run 12?
No, they only take your top 8 scores.
So it's best 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Best 8, yeah. So, for instance, last year, I think Jimbo Brown got 3rd overall because he went to 10 races and, was consistently between 7th and 10th every race. But he collected a lot of points doing that, and in the process got a payout at the end of the year. Now, it helped offset the cost of going to the races. Did he make money at the end of the year? No. It's not like it used to be, because it used to be $1,000 to win per class.
I didn't know that.
Did you? Okay, well then you didn't know this. At the year-end banquet, they would pay in singles. So whenever we'd be standing up on stage, they would literally unzip duffel bags of singles wrapped in rubber bands and hand them out to everybody that placed in the top. I think they paid the top 5 in the pro class at the time. So it was like $1,000 to win, $500 for second, third was $300, and then $250 and $150 down the line. But I mean, shoot.
Do you know the last time I got a award for the Missouri State Championship Series?
98.
No. 1995, Possum Hollow. I got third in the 57A class.
Was that the only time that you've ever done the whole state series?
It was a combo. That and then, I felt decent. I felt pretty strong on a 50. I had a good time.
Yeah.
60, I started going downhill. 80, I went really downhill, really downhill. 125s, it was like I was coming maybe a little bit back up.
No,
then I went back
450 to 125?
Yes.
Okay.
80 to 450 to 125.
Did you automatically ride novice or did you ride beginner? I don't remember.
Oh, no. I was a pro beginner. I was the Martin Davalos of the 125 beginner class.
Well.
Or the 450 beginner.
Yeah, okay.
But the difference was, I didn't win a 450 beginner championship by any means. I haven't won that many races. That's the thing.
But you do have some first place trophies.
I do have some.
Hey, some was better than none.
Yes. But my proudest trophy is my one 6th or 7th place expert trophy.
Really?
Yeah. My one expert race.
Hey, you can't,
Go ahead, ask. How many guys were in it?
How many were in it?
7. But they gave trophies to all of us.
So I'm messing with your input here.
I see that.
Of your level. And it's weird because it's reading well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just that mic.
Think so? You want me to switch mics?
No, I don't want you to switch
I got
mics.
another mic.
No, it's fine.
Mic on the mic. I got mics.
Are you more used to the other microphone?
Does that look like it's got used a lot?
No.
No, it's in the corner.
Okay.
I don't care what microphone. You put a sock in my face the first day we did this.
I know. I think, you know what it is? I'm looking at your levels here, and so what you're talking about right now is you're not very loud. But you were just talking about that one win that you got in 450 beginner or whatever the hell it was that you were saying, and dude, your levels are clipping off of the charts.
See, it's like a lie detector. I got really excited. My blood pressure started rising. I remember it.
I literally, I was like, wow, he's very loud, and I turned it down.
Yeah.
But now you're talking volume.
That's because then we started talking about how my career went downhill, and I started sucking real bad.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe my ears are just blowing out now, and I can't hear you.
Probably because that 2-stroke you're riding. Just ringing it.
Dude, honestly, how good does that bike sound on the track?
You want me to be honest with you?
Yes.
Honestly, when there's 8 other guys right behind you on 250Fs and 450s,
you can't even hear my bike.
Zero packing in their silencer whatsoever.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hear you.
Yeah.
I could see you, though. You look like a highlighter going around the track.
But what about whenever I was out front, just catching, just breaking the wind for the rest of the field?
What about when you were out front and I called you 2 laps in a row on a Suzuki because you have yellow plastic?
Did you really?
Yes. Crusher on the Rip and Rut Suzuki coming around out front.
It just was a brain fart.
I did the same to the guy's name, I think it's Matt Hanna. He's riding a yellow Yamaha.
Yes, he is. Uh-huh.
Yeah. He was on a Suzuki.
That's
too.
hilarious.
The thing about it is, though, nobody's actually listening to me. And nobody really knows the difference. They just see yellow and they don't focus enough to realize.
Also, what's interesting is the person that would be most offended by you flubbing it is out on the track.
That's true.
So,
Would you be offended if everybody thought you were riding a Suzuki?
No, because Freedom Cycles at 12501 South US 71 in Grandview, Missouri, sells Suzukis.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I only know their address because I deliver there, or used to deliver there.
You used to live there.
Practically.
Not practically, you did.
I may have made a nest in the upper storage. Listen, let's not get into that. Okay.
Anytime the owner of a dealership hands you his full factory bike when you're like 12 years old and says, hey, why don't you ride this small child? It's a 520 KTM. Go out and just kill everybody. I think you're kind of in with them. Like you live there.
Yeah. You know what I think I need right now? A room temperature grapefruit flavored You know, I've never seen these LaCroix where it says pamplemousse.
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 Mm-hmm.
And then it says grapefruit. I've seen it where it says grapefruit, but not pamplemousse.
Yeah, but that's pamplemousse is a whole nother thing.
I guess that's how you say grapefruit in
whatever language LaCroix is.
Well, it's a I explained to you, it's a butchering of both English and French.
You know what's a pamplemousse?
What?
We have a guest here.
Yes, sir, we do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crack open my ice-cold LaCroix. And I'm going to hand the mic off to our friend, the superstar, the factory Kyosho. I don't know the rest of your sponsors, so that's where I'm
First of all, the fact that you said Kyosho and you didn't say like Kyosho or Kyoto or I'm just impressed. Sorry, go ahead. You did good. That was really good.
Really?
Yeah. Wait. Go on. I'm gonna write down something. I want you to read it.
Okay, hold on. Jared? What's your hometown in California or Nevada? Where are you from? Rosemont, California. Hailing from the high desert of Rosemont, California, on the number. Do you have a specified number? On the number 1. What eighth or what scale do you typically race?
All of them.
On the 1/8 scale.
You were doing really good, and then you just
Factory Kyosho. All-wheel drive?
yes, all-wheel. Yeah.
All-wheel drive. Factory Kyosho. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Jared Tebo.
Hello, guys. What's up?
Jeff,
Thanks for the intro, Mr. Crutcher.
Mike, take it away.
you start out so high there, and then, all right.
He did have Kyosho down, though.
He did
That
have
was nice.
Kyosho. Yeah. I want to write down a radio company that is often said very wrong. Do you remember that day that you came in and you were making fun of my Tekken hat? No. I had a Tekken hat. It's definitely Tekken, not Tekken. But there's a radio company that I just want you to pronounce. I want to see how you say it. I'll write it down. Anyway, Jared Tebo.
What's
welcome.
up, Mike?
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Jared, okay, so OTB over the bars. Let's start out talking about dirt bikes.
Awesome.
You have a garage full of super trick dirt bikes. What all do you have?
Well, right now I have 5 non-working dirt bikes. They're all red. I have a 1995 CR250, which is probably my favorite bike I have. It's all done out McGrath style. I have a 2002 CR250, done out, Carmichael style. And then I have a 2006 CR125. And
Nice.
Those two, the 2002 and 2006, look the same. They're kind of Carmichael twins. So, yeah, they're sweet, man. I love them.
For those of you listening, like when he says he has a 95, don't be thinking like the 95 found it in the barn. This guy is riding a goon bike. Like it's legit. 1-800-COLLECT Jeremy McGrath replica.
Yeah, it's got some sweet stuff on it. Have the good pegs on it, the good forks, rebuild all the suspension, oversized brakes, hydraulic clutch. Yeah, man, it rides good. It's funny. I was just riding this past weekend, and it was a AMA sanctioned weekend. So there was a bunch of kids, wanting to go all fast in the practice day, and I roll up on a 22-year-old bike and send it off every jump and pass these kids up this huge hill, and
You just sent it.
Oh yeah,
That's good. Now, okay, talk to us a little bit about, there's a lot of RC guys that race motocross or ride motocross, but I'm going to be the one to say it. Not a lot of fast guys. I consider you a fast guy, local expert rider. Tell us your background in motocross.
Background in motocross is my dad raced road race bikes when I was born. He wanted me to go down that route. I like dirt better, so I wanted to ride dirt bikes. Grew up in Southern California, racing 50s. Grew up kind of with the Lessies. We're same age, and lived pretty close, and so battled with them on 50s. And was really fast on 50s, kind of like your story. Got slower on 60s, crashed my brains out on 80s, and then quit.
Can I just interject here very quickly?
Sure.
My friend Jared Tebo. Just so you know, this is a podcast, not an interview.
Okay.
And we are having a conversation, not a Q&A.
All right.
I didn't tell you that before you walked in.
I'll try to be more conversational.
No, I didn't make that clear before you came in. And I know a lot of folks, they'll listen to like Pulp MX, which great show, but it's Q and then A. And then it's Q and then it's A, typically.
Yeah.
We don't follow that format on OTB. It's just simply, we're here hanging out to have those LaCroix, dude. They've got that, the bubbles in there.
Yeah, they do have a lot of bubbles.
Yeah.
I was enjoying those pamplemousse bubbles myself.
Yeah, pamplemousse, he'll get you. So I just wanted to let you and everyone really know that, don't expect to hear like, so Jared, tell me about your most recent race in England. We know that you got third place in 1/8 scale, or whatever it is. I know.
Good, because I really don't want to talk about that race.
Well, we are though.
Oh.
Actually, the race is whatever. I want to talk about you just going to England in general. But, yeah, I'm not trying to. No, it's not directed at you, Mike. I'm staring at you. Listen here, bud. I'm just letting everybody know here. Let the conversation roll freely, my friends. Not an interview. We're just here to talk about our RC cars and dirt bikes.
That sounds good.
Mike, back to you.
Mike, you have the mic.
I don't want to ask any more questions. I'm totally done asking questions.
No, I just wanted to.
Since you brought
set him at ease.
Since you brought it up, I'm going to ask about England.
Okay.
Not the race, but I do want to know about England. When you were in England, did you see any dirt bike racing?
I did not.
Have you ever seen? You've been to England a lot.
Yeah.
Well, how many years? 7 years? 8 years? 8 times?
I think I've been there, I don't know. Yeah, 8 or 9 times.
Have you ever seen dirt bike racing over there?
I have not.
I watched on MAV TV, the British Championship.
Jake Nichols, man, that's my Instagram boy. We chat on Instagram a little bit.
No way, really?
He was killing it. He's into RC.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
him and Carl Nunn.
Really?
Old school British motocrosser. Yeah. They're super weird, though, because in Europe, no one races trucks. And these Brits just only race trucks. I don't know why. At their own, backyard track. They're all into it.
Are they good?
I'm not sure. Every time I see pictures of their trucks, they're really muddy.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
But it does rain all the time.
That's true.
England,
It's England.
so.
Yeah, it's a very rainy place. So that transitioned me over. You're talking about those guys doing motocross. In America, I know you got to hang out with Cole Seeley at the Reedy race. Talk to me a little bit about Cole Seeley. How cool is he? Is he good at RC cars?
I'm not sure if he's good. I didn't see him drive.
Oh, I thought he raced while he was there.
No, he just stopped by for one day.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, supposedly he used to drive a lot out there. He was really cool, actually. Surprisingly, he was super nice. Chatted for a while. He loved my 125. So I was showing him some pictures.
Oh,
I was showing him pictures.
Oh. But Mookie races RC cars, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Josh Hansen. Well,
I don't think he does.
I don't know. JQ had the whole
does
thing
not.
with him, but he was there at the track or something. There's a bunch of RC guys.
Tomac.
Yeah.
Forkner's all
We were
into
talking
RC.
about that. Tomac in
Cortez, Colorado.
no, not well, maybe Cortez,
I
Colorado.
did see a video of Tomac doubling a triple with a Losi 5 something.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I also saw in one of the DVDs or something, one of the MOTO films.
And Tomac follows me on Instagram.
Does he really? No.
He liked one video of mine, and it was me doing donuts with my 8 scale in my garage. But he does follow me. But that was, I think, the one like he had.
That would be the equivalent. If you flip-flop that would be like the equivalent of you liking him I don't even know
Like
what
crashing a quad.
exactly. That's exactly what that would be like. It's exactly what that would be like.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm a little disappointed in that. I mean, I'm very pumped for you that he follows you on Instagram. Have you ever gave a shout out to him like, hey, this weekend Supercross, I really hope my bud ET3.
I haven't.
You did. You had a Valentino Rossi paint job
Yep.
several years ago on was it your 8th scale?
Yeah, at the Worlds.
Yeah, in Italy.
Sicily.
In Italy.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about doing like a ET3 paint job? Or just any Supercrosser? Like, do you have a famous rider? A favorite rider?
I like Carmichael, but he doesn't have like a specific
That doesn't count. You can't
like
count Carmichael.
theme. Why?
He's retired. I'm talking about like now.
Oh, current now?
Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of good racing. So not a specific person. I majorly respect Dungey for what he's done. I'm not like crazy diehard Dungey fan. I do like Tomac. I like his riding style now. He looks a lot like Villopoto. So I enjoy watching Tomac ride more this year than years past.
See, that's really funny because I had this argument with my wife. She is a huge Eli Tomac fan. So we go to St. Louis Supercross, and I go to the bathroom, and I come out, and she's fangirl and hardcore, and she's at the merchandise stand buying Eli Tomac shirts and hats. She goes in the
Nice.
bathroom, puts them all on. She's screaming, yelling for him, and I'm like, oh, wow. But she thinks he rides really cool. I think he looks weird on a bike.
I always thought he did too. He kind of had an ugly style.
It might be his gear. I'm not a fan of his gear. Maybe it's his helmet. I
It
don't
looks-
know.
He always wore that 6D helmet.
Yeah.
To me, those look weird.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see him with the Bell helmet now, I think. It looks a lot
Whatever,
better.
yeah.
Alpine Star always had cool gear with like Barsha.
Yeah.
But Kawasaki seems like they're super strict on their
Yeah.
gear with Tomac. But he's been looking a little bit better lately. I don't know. I think his style's looking a lot better. His attacking of the front end is a lot different now. I feel like his wrist angle has slightly changed.
Wow.
And
you
he
have
is-
studied for not being like, for Eli not being your boy. You really studied it. Wrist angle.
Yeah.
I got
That's
to
a technical term, by the way.
I have Jeff, have you ever studied the wrist angle of someone? I shouldn't have even asked this question. Here we go.
How much time do you have?
None. Great.
The answer is yes. I have.
Of a Supercross rider.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whenever I'm watching live in person. So, like, whenever I go, okay, those kind of things I'll watch during practice, during time qualifying. Not only am I watching them burn heaters, but I'll pick apart quick, little stuff that they're doing because it's stuff that I think about while I'm riding myself. So, there was the Gary Simics model of motocross riding stresses the 5 controls. And then there's a guy in Texas that used to do motocross schools called Larry Morton was his name. And his motocross schools were called the 5 Magics, which actually has a better ring than the 5 controls. So whenever I'm watching bare fundamentals, the 5 Magics are clutch, brake, gas, shifter, and rear brake. And if you watch pro riders use the 5 Magics in unison with each other, the ones that have full fluid control of the 5 controls of the motorcycle are the ones that ride the best. So you can't have advanced techniques without having above excellent fundamentals. That's like, you can build a house on green concrete, but it's going to fall in whenever the foundation cracks.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is a proper wrist angle?
Well, I guess it depends on the specific. It changes from obstacle to obstacle. Your angle at which you're holding on to the handlebars through a whoop section is going to be different than holding on going down a straightaway. Now, what a lot of people, Jared, were you talking about left wrist or right wrist? Throttle side? Both wrists. Okay. Well, specifically on the throttle side,
Is this why I never made it to the A level successfully?
yes.
Okay.
That and general lack of talent. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. No, it's
You lost your train of thought.
Yeah,
didn't
no,
you?
I was like, man, that was kind of a deep burn. But no, it's what a lot of people don't realize is that you do not twist the throttle. You roll the throttle with the inside of your thumb and the side of your palm. You turn the throttle like you're turning a doorknob. You stick your hand out, you turn the doorknob like this. You ride your dirt bike, you turn the throttle like this. You don't hold on to it in like a perfect O grip. It's actually where your thumb is out, and you use the underside of your thumb. That's why I have this callus right here, and that's why my skin doesn't grow right there, because that's actually how I turn the throttle. That's the correct way to turn the throttle. Now, the average person will have super gnarly blisters all across their hand from gripping and twisting, which is actually incorrect. So whenever Jared talks about wrist angle, absolutely. It's something that I notice.
Wow.
Listen, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you watch these guys, okay, so you're watching a guy. Let's say you pick out right foot angle, okay?
Okay.
So then, like, this past weekend at Kingsville, were you going through a session where you just, like, beating yourself in the head, like, dude, I was 7 degrees off on that one.
No, what I was thinking about the entire time was I need to stop eating fucking Taco Bell.
Really? Was it getting to you? Your crack was hanging out that second moto, or I don't know what moto that was.
It was in the first motos.
But
in that blue, dude, the blue gear, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's because it's got those syndicate patches on the back of the leg.
Uh-huh.
They grip on the seat and it pulls down.
Yeah, it pulls your pants straight off.
It does.
Remember the story I was telling you about me wadding it up at my house and ripping my pants off and laying on the track?
Yeah.
Do you know who the person was that was there when I did that?
No.
This man. Do you remember that?
I don't really remember that.
You don't? Okay, on my cage bike?
Oh, I do remember that.
Yes, see? Yes.
Because I was there to try to pick up the pieces.
Yes,
I
exactly.
do remember that.
Yeah.
You crashed on like a
The little
double going
little
up the
uphill.
hill.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. There it was.
Yep.
Literally. You'd have to work so hard to find anything. It's unreal, so I wasn't worried about it. Wasn't worried a bit about it.
Wrist angle.
Sorry. Anyway, we were talking about your favorite rider, and you said you were a fan of racing. Do you have anyone that you just cannot stand on the racetrack?
I'm not a Barsha fan.
I would agree with you on that one. I used to be, but lately he's been doing some things that if you're winning and you do those things, like, it doesn't bother me as much. But when you're like 7th and 8th and you start acting like a squid, I don't like it.
I think dirty's dirty if it's first or for 15th. I don't
Well-
know. I don't like his style. I don't like his attitude. I don't really like watching him ride.
You know what I don't like about him? At St. Louis, I saw him in the pits, and he was on his bike, and spin bike, and we wheeled like right up to him, and like, Reed and Baggett and those guys, that they at least make eye contact with you, or maybe even wave or something like that. I literally was under his dripping sweat, staring him in the face, and he would not look at me. And I was like, "What's your deal, dude?"
Were you like a baby bird with your mouth open, like, sweat into my mouth?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, what I thought I would do is I was going to save it and put it on eBay like they do, like, Britney Spears, like, sweat on this Kleenex or she blew her nose. I was going to do that with Barsha, but he didn't look at me. You want to know something that happened at St.
He's
Louis?
probably mad because his mom made him return his Lamborghini.
I heard about that. Yeah. Did you hear about that? You're in the little loopy thing.
No,
What?
it was a Lamborghini.
It was a Lambo. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the story anyway. But Anderson was Anderson taking shots at him on Instagram about it.
It was him and Roxon, I think.
Or Roxon, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Because Roxon bought some Audi R8.
And he said my mom didn't make me take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had something so St. Louis, talking about St. Louis, though, Dylan Ferrandis. I might have already said this on the show.
I like his style. He looks good on the bike.
Yeah, he does. He's not bad. Cool part about him is he's a pretty chill, regular dude. So we're standing at the funnel cake thing, waiting for funnel cakes in the pits.
Yeah.
He walks up to my mom and he says, "Hey, Mama, what time is it?" And my mom turns around and was like, "What in the world is this?" I knew who it was, so I'm like, "Oh, wow." And my mom's like, "Oh,
That's
honey,
hilarious.
yeah, honey, it's, whatever, 3:30. Thank you, Mama," and walks off. Oh, coolest thing ever, huh? Yeah, cool stuff.
Nice. Did he get a funnel cake?
No, he did not.
Oh.
But just the fact that he would walk up to my mom and just say, "Mama."
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's
it's kind of
must be a
weird and
French
weird.
thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it's weird or cool, but regardless.
It's coolly weird.
Yeah. You know who I'm not a fan of?
Who?
And Jeff, I have raced with him before, Vince Freezy. And not
no.
Okay, so I'm not a fan of Vince Freezy because I think he has, in my opinion, untapped talent that he is wasting with this nonsense that he does. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I have mixed reviews on him. One side, I really dislike him. I feel like he does do some really shady stuff. You know, I'm all for like some healthy block pass and things, but it's more like the almost head-oning and cutting across that far type of thing. Like that's kind of like what Barsha does a lot. But, you know, I don't know. Freezy always gets put. I read some interview and it was just funny, you know. People are just so mad at him that he always gets good starts.
He does. Everybody on
And-
Moto Concepts.
But it's like, you know, other people are aggressive when they're trying to make the pass, and then he's like aggressive trying not to get past.
Mm.
So I don't know. It's two different ways. It's tough. You know, I bet he wishes he was a little better because he gets good starts.
Yes, he does. So does Michael Leslie. Well, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Jeffrey.
I'm present. Go ahead.
What are the Moto Concepts guys? Brayton, maybe not so much, but I've noticed that like Brayton's bike and stuff, he doesn't even, he looks like he's on Moto Concepts, but he's like, he's like his own thing. But like Freezy and Alessi, what do those guys do and what do they practice, you think, to get such good starts?
It's
Freezy was not that good of a starter until he got on Moto Concepts.
okay.
Oh, he agrees to disagree.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna hand this off.
He was a good starter the first time I seen him race Supercross guy because I specifically remember him with a Red Bull helmet, and he whole shotted some lights heat races.
Yeah, he used to be
I have
on
no idea who he was, but he had a Red Bull helmet on a Honda.
He was on the MDK KTM's, right?
He was on like a privateer Honda when I first ever heard of him, and he whole shotted some lights heat races.
Anyway, okay, so Alessi's been a good starter from day one. Now, that comes from his dad stressing to him, it's a lot easier to win the race if you get a good start. And they drilled starts like in the manner that if Kim Jong-un was practicing starts, that was
Kim fast?
if he raced to dirt bikes, I guarantee you he would be.
Yeah. Who's Kim Jong-un?
Jared Tebo, do you know who Kim Jong-un is? Mike does not.
No, who's Kim Jong-un?
I
thought you just made that up.
No, Kim Jong-un is the dictator of North Korea.
The guy that did the parade with the fake palms.
Oh.
You know there's going to be issues with that country, right? Do you ever,
Get out of this room?
yeah.
No.
No, the answer is no.
No, I did go to Kingsville to watch you win, but that was it.
Man, that feels good to hear.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you
sucked in the 450
you
class.
asked me a question.
Yeah.
What was it? Vince Freeze, Michael Lessie, why
what
did
do
they
they
get good
work-
starts? Okay, well, I mean, they just drill starts. The truth of the matter is,
So it's just coincidence. It's not a team tactic, or it's not something the team's working on.
I think that if I'm speaking completely blunt, they're small guys who are riding bikes that have ECUs set up for that specific thing because they know that they're not race winners. So why not set up a mapping specifically for, starts? And I think they've got a tuner or an engine developer that knows exactly what it takes to get starts. Now, Brayton's always been a good starter, and he's also riding factory Honda equipment. As far as Genova's team, I think they have something that everyone else doesn't. Now, I'm not saying unobtainable. I'm saying they have it figured out. They have something figured out. Now, Alessi's always been a good starter, but through their consistent good starts, see, anybody that's a master at something is a master of repetition. So whenever Leslie's good at starts and his dad is a fantastic person who analyzes things, caught on to the patterns of why it is that Mike gets good starts. So then he would just, it's essentially a self-affirming echo chamber of good starts. So whenever, like for instance, I got a good start in one moto, so I knew that I could get a good start the next moto. Now, if you get a bad start, then your confidence is going to be, oh, well, I'm a shitty starter for the next moto or the next weekend or so on down the road. Once you start good, it's easier to continue starting good. So I think that also in the process of having really high confidence, they have really good equipment to excel at that one thing.
So Mike, what you're saying here, he has more confidence than anybody else until you get to that first triple. When he gets to the triple, zero confidence.
I would say until he gets to the first set of whoops.
I don't know that he's crashed in the whoops, but like the last 3 triples, the last one finally did. He came up short like 3 races in a row.
That one that he came up short on, that was the one of the wiring harnesses came undone under torque.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a mechanical.
Oh.
That was not rider error. But that was a brutal wreck.
That was. It was a hard hit.
Yeah.
It really was.
Mm-hmm. So, continue.
I kind of got off track, but did you guys hear Trey Kennard's hurt again?
Yeah.
Yes. Broken collarbone. Well,
allegedly.
As RacerX reports, Trey Kennard's first season with Red Bull KTM has gone from bad to worse. According to the team, Kennard was injured today while testing for the upcoming Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship and has sustained a reported collarbone injury. The extent of the injury is not yet known. Kennard will see a specialist today to determine the extent of the injury.
Yikes.
The first comment below is Red Bull's biggest mistake.
It's not, okay, to say that it's Red Bull's biggest mistake is fake news because it is not Red Bull's biggest mistake. It would be
Red Bull KTM?
Red Bull KTM, yeah. It's
Roger
KTM's
DeCoster.
call. Roger DeCoster. Well, but the thing is, they had a seat and they needed to fill it. And they chose between either Dean Wilson or Trey Kennard. You had 2 guys that are essentially unproven in the 450 class. And both of them have been hurt numerous years in a row. And it was, I think they broke it down to picking the lesser of 2 evils and went with Trey. Because frankly, Trey has a better following than Dean does, in my humble opinion.
Jared?
I personally thought it was a great decision by Roger to hire Trey. But, you know, you got 2 choices. Either it goes good or it goes bad, and unfortunately it's gone bad. You know, I thought he was going to get kind of a second lease on his career. He's got great speed. I thought maybe he was just, you know, lacking some mental guidance. Originally he was supposed to go train with Baker and go train with Dungy and all that stuff. I was like, oh, man, he's going to be doing awesome. That never happened, I guess, because he didn't sell his house in Oklahoma, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
He sold it to, I don't know if he sold the house, but the property sold to a superbike guy. I don't know if he's Euro or American, but it's one of the dudes that races superbikes. And, listen to this. I come to find out that, like, Rossi and crew, like all the top MotoGP guys, Jupu, all of the top MotoGP guys, they don't even train riding superbikes.
Well, yeah, because their bikes cost like $1 million.
Yeah, you know what they do? They ride 450s with street tires on chat. It's like finely ground
Have you never
gravel.
seen the ranch, bro?
I've seen it. Mike's obviously not. Yeah, no, he has
That's all Rossi does is ride a Yamaha 450, getting it sideways.
Yeah, dude, seriously, they have he has a whole paddock.
It's called the MOTO Ranch.
Of 450s that him and not just his buddies and friends, but his competitors. He invites them out, and they have this giant TT course on this chat type material, and they go out and just ride motos.
I would not say TT course. It is like a gorgeous MotoGP facility that just so happens to be dirt and not asphalt.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a lot of
Chat tracks.
motorsports things that, they don't really practice. Like Lewis Hamilton during the week doesn't go hop in his Formula One car and go like burn some laps because he needs some training.
I never
But
thought.
yeah, those MotoGP guys, that's what they ride. They do a lot of flat track stuff.
I never thought about that though. That's true. Like
Mark Marquez, he rides a lot of motocross. He has this Honda that looks sick because it's all Repsol, looks just like his MotoGP bike.
Wow. Or like any of those, any like car or truck racer. I guess I never thought about that, but they're not going to go out. Do truck racers? Do they go out during the weekend?
Like off-road truck?
Yeah. I mean, probably obviously more than a Formula One guy
know.
would.
I mean, Formula One, all that stuff, it's all done simulator. Like they do all their testing and practicing in the simulator.
I never thought about that. That's really interesting. Huh.
Yeah, Moto Ranch, Valentino Rossi, it is pretty legit.
Where's it
yeah,
at?
he does have a whole lot of people go out. I've seen, Mark Marquez out there. I don't know. He has this whole like camp he does out there too.
How would, in your opinion, if you took some of the top motocrossers and supercrossers and put them on a bike against him on that track, how would they fare up?
I mean, they would probably get just utterly destroyed.
Think so?
I would say yes for sure.
They're so used to sliding. A motocrosser kind of slides, but it's a little bit different.
Mic swap. Better? Now we're better.
Talking volume?
Ha. Wow.
Yeah, you want to know something funny? So I rode Supermoto one time in my life. Steve O'Donnell, RC guy, wanted to build a Supermoto bike for me to go race the AMA Supermoto Series in 2005. And he talked to some magazine. Some guy let me ride like a $20,000 Supermoto bike. And I got invited to some test day thing out in the middle of the desert, some go-kart track. And like every pro Supermoto guy was out there, and all three Hayden brothers were there. And I got passed at like 60 miles an hour by Nicky Hayden in his MotoGP leathers with his elbow and knee on the ground.
Whoa. We have to back up. Hold on. I have so many questions for that.
Well, this isn't a Q&A, so you have to like get him in like a conversation.
Okay. In conversation, is Steve O'Donnell still around?
I think he is. He kind of pops his head in.
He went to work for Horizon for a while, right? Horizon Hobby? Maybe not.
Possibly. I don't know.
There's a Chris O'Donnell. Is that his son?
No.
That's a different.
His son is Brad.
Okay, so Chris O'Donnell that I've heard of is
not related.
Okay. Now, why would Steve O'Donnell, your RC sponsor, providing you chassis at the time, why would he have any interest in putting you on a supermoto bike? What benefit did that have to him? Or was it just something cool?
He kind of like wanted to get me out of RC and like go race supermoto.
Wow. So, but I'm assuming since you're not racing supermoto with Steve O'Donnell now and you're racing RC cars that you decided RC cars was a better choice.
Well, it was kind of a strange thing, He talked to some guy, they let me ride it, but, I had only ridden motocross on dirt, so I go to riding on the street. I was very uncomfortable. The guy basically said, do not crash my $20,000 bike. And I got to ride it for like 10 minutes, and I obviously wasn't lighting the world on fire. So no bike was built after that.
Wow.
Yep.
But
I have a really cool memory of Nicky Hayden passing me.
Yeah.
In his Repsol Honda MotoGP leathers.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I
It
never
had
knew.
a slipper clutch, and it was so crazy. We're going like 85, 90 miles an hour on the straightaway. And the guy told me to pull the clutch in, downshift 5 times, and dump the clutch.
That sounds like
And
a
it was
terrible
very
idea.
hard for me to do that mentally.
Did you do it real slow like the first time you did it? Were you like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
All I saw was me just high-siding.
Yeah.
But yeah, those bikes have this like weird slipper clutch when you decelerate. But yeah, it was fun, but you know, I was super uncomfortable. It would have been really fun to get like a few hours on the bike without tons of professionals on the track.
Wow. Jeff, have you ever raced Supermoto?
No, Terry Meyer tried to get me to go so many times whenever he was racing it professionally in the early 2000s. And I was just like, well, first off, I was too young to do it originally because he had to be 16 to have the pro license. And he kept inviting me when I was like 15. And then the recession hit, and then it tanked entirely. Supermoto did. And then after that point, there were no, Supermoto rides being handed out. And the guys that had the Supermoto bikes, pretty much everybody sold them and went back to just riding dirt bikes or riding street bikes. And it's pretty much just like a California thing now.
Yeah, they still have some sort of series, but I don't know the extent of it.
Yeah,
I know Blake Wharton went and did some right after he retired from Supercross.
he's kind of a renaissance man of riding. He's not much different than Zach Bell. Zach Bell, yeah. They seem to be.
I see him riding desert.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Do you listen to the Over the Bars podcast by chance, Jared Tebo?
Yes, I do. I've listened to all 3 previous episodes up till this point.
Well, at least you know that there were 3 episodes, but we have talked about Zach Bell riding off road. Hey, so I'm cruising through your Instagram here, and for like a lot of us motocross guys, we don't really know what it's like to be. Okay, so we have a concept of pro motocross racing, but we don't really have a concept of what pro RC car racing is like. And now that we have you here in studio, I want to get a feel for what is like a day-to-day operation for like a standard pro RC. Because we were just talking about how like Valentino Rossi doesn't practice by going out on his MotoGP bike. However, obviously your RC car doesn't cost $100,000. So, I mean, do you even practice anymore with your cars?
I try to practice as much as I can. My day-to-day looks a little different compared to other pro RC guys. I got to mix in the family stuff. But, yeah, I try to go to the track and practice. Stick time is always good. As much, if you could drive as much as you can, that's good for me. Some people maybe try the VRC, trying to do some simulator stuff, but I don't do any of that. I like going to the track and practicing.
Old school, hands-on.
Yes, sir.
I'm a fan of that. I like that. So we kind of dabbled in the England thing earlier. And obviously, you've been to Japan also racing, and you're kind of intercontinental with your RC endeavors. What's like the best place? Not specifically for like, I'm not asking what's the best track for RC racing worldwide.
Like the coolest place to go.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough. I go and I see a lot of airports and a lot of hotels and a lot of tracks. RC is similar to motocross. Normally the tracks are out in the middle of nowhere. So, I don't get the opportunity to see as much as I'd like to. I like going to Asia. I like going to Thailand and Malaysia, Indonesia, places like that.
Yeah.
I like Japan a lot. The culture is just quite a bit different when you go to places like that. I enjoy that side of it.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, if you went to, let's say, Denmark to race, you're still surrounded by white people with, brown hair. I mean, whenever you boil down to
Yeah, but the
what it
roads
is,
are skinnier there.
the roads are skinnier, sure. But in public, as long as you don't open your mouth, nobody's going to realize that you're a foreigner. Whereas whenever you go to a completely different culture, then it's probably a lot different than opposed to going to, a Caucasian, nation.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Europe's a lot different too. I like going to Europe. I like traveling all over. I enjoy that side. I don't go to Europe too much. Mainly just England every year.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen a whole lot of Europe, but I've been to Italy a couple times. Sicily was awesome. That was probably one of my favorite places I went to.
What did you eat while you were there?
Pizza.
You liar. You liar. They don't have...
I did eat a lot of pizza there, though. They had some legit pizza.
But Italian pizza is not like what we eat in America.
It's dough with red sauce and
marinara.
cheese and stuff on it. It's pretty
That's
similar,
how I
but
know it.
it's how they cook it, man.
Yeah.
They cook it on the stones
Yeah.
and the fires.
Yeah. So have you been overseas and rode motocross ever?
I haven't. I really want to. I'm riding in Spain with Edgar Torrenteras later this year.
Really?
So I can't wait. He has a YZ 125 for me to ride.
How psyched are you?
I'm very excited. He's promised me that I'm going to be a huge whipper after we ride together.
Are you any bit of a whipper now?
I'm not.
You're
No.
Not
So he
into-
says one day at the banana camp, he will have me just cracking whips.
I hope that we're going to see some serious drain plug.
I want to. I want to put my 95 completely upside down.
I'd be a huge fan of that, to be honest.
So would I.
But the thing is, I don't know where you're going to do that around here. Because we don't have any jumps anywhere. We have no banana camps. We have no ramps. We have no big booters to...
You can still... There's some jumps at KC Moto that you could definitely get upside down on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the new layout is like at KC Moto and at the next day race. Because, they...
When is that day race?
It's in...
May 7th,
I think that's when it is, but I'm not sure. Mike may have said that and been... Are you out of town that weekend?
I don't know. I can ride plus 30 now.
Plus 30 doesn't pay money.
I ride dirt bikes as pure hobby.
No, I know that, but you might as well ride plus 25 because you're fast enough to make money in the class.
Yeah, I know, but then I'm just going to eat roost and, not win.
See, this is did you hear me get into amateur motocross racing by chance?
I did not.
Okay, well, I have a problem with it, and the issue is what you're talking about right there. That people think that it's more fun to win in a lesser...
It's always more fun to win.
In a lesser skill class than it is to... The flame has been lit already.
See, I fight this in RC. I probably feel the same way you feel in motocross and RC.
Explain that.
Well, when we go to RC races, there's 15 different classes.
Hold that mic a little bit closer to your mouth.
It's touching my lips.
That's what it's supposed to do. And that's also what she said.
But yeah, there's way too many classes, and I agree, everyone wants to have a trophy, but for me in motocross, I am not as fit as I need to be. My skill level is much better than my fitness level, and if I ride in the A class, I will probably crash because my brain wants to try to win, but my muscles cannot hold on to the handlebars. But if I ride plus 30, I can whole shot and win, no problem, riding 75%.
Maybe. Chad Wygant is pretty fast.
Yeah, I got my wrist angles for sure better.
You've got the dialed
I
wrist
do like
angle.
Chad, though.
Yeah.
I like riding at the farm. I want to go there tomorrow.
Yeah, are they riding out there tomorrow?
Yeah,
And
I think so.
I'm working a split, so I'm not going to be able to make it. So, schedule. Okay, here, May 7th, round 2, KC Moto, Adrian, Missouri. Sure enough. And then the round.
I'll probably just go there for practice. I'm not a
Or
racer. I
Saturday.
can't race.
That's yeah. I mean, do any of your sponsors or endorsements say, "Hey, we need you to not race dirt bikes because it's dangerous and you need to be able to function your wrists"?
No.
Okay.
I wondered that myself.
Yeah, that's kind of actually surprising to me.
Yeah, RC, like all the $1 million contracts and all this crazy money that people
Okay.
think that they're throwing at me
You know
doesn't
what?
quite exist.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking this earlier, and I have asked this to so many of the pro motocross racers. The dollar amount is irrelevant. I don't give a shit how much money you make, and nobody should. What I want to know is how you get paid.
How I get paid is a monthly salary by certain sponsors, and
Okay.
then a contingency program from those same sponsors based off of the big races that I attend.
So is it posted contingency or is it in your contract like win bonuses?
Yeah, in your contract.
Okay. Yeah. Which is, $1 million signing bonus.
I wish.
And then
I did have a signing bonus a few years ago.
how you stretching that one out?
I was proud of that.
You wanna
working those deals.
Yeah, acting as your own agent, Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, I'm my own everything, like mechanic, agent, driver, truck driver,
Manager.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything.
You're your own
My own gear manager.
You're your own man friend.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that one-man show.
Oh yeah.
Hey, then the only person you have to count on is yourself, and you know that you can't let yourself down.
It's a good and bad feeling sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, what so Mike just bought this
TLR.
TLR. Why is it a 22 4.0?
That's the name of it. Kind of like, why is your bike called a? Is it a
250
I almost
SX?
called it a TC 250.
How dare you? Okay, so TLR. Oh, this is a Losi. Is that how you say it?
It's
Yeah.
called TLR now.
Oh, dude, bummer. I always liked the Losi logo and the yellow wheels. The old school Losi logo. I always thought that was super sick. That's a bummer that it's TLR now. Everybody's got to have a fucking acronym.
No Losi actually works for Losi anymore.
Oh, okay. Mike.
I was just going to say the acronym coming from the creator of the OTB Over the Bars podcast.
Ouch.
So, okay, now I want to keep going. So the 22 is the model,
Yes.
but the 4.0 is the
That's like the SX or the EX or whatever.
EXC. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah.
you. I'm with you. The XC, so it goes SX, XC, EXC, and then EXCW.
Yeah.
Just if we're getting into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of something similar. Well, kind of, but not really. So, like, when TLR first made that car, it would be the TLR 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went a 1.0, which was like the first version.
So
2.0
this is like the fourth
that's like
generation of the
fourth
22.
generation.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I like that. Okay, so now I decide that I'm going to go race RC cars, and I'm a John Dowd. I'm an expert the first time that I race. Now, if I go win do they have like state races for RC car racing? I mean, obviously I know that there's local, regional, and national races. So like if I go
Our sanctioning body doesn't really have like series, which I mean, I don't know. Missouri State's not really sanctioned by anything either. So yeah, there would be series like that.
Okay. Now, so like at the Missouri State race, I ride a KTM, and KTM paid me $75 for my win.
Nice.
Now,
No.
TLR doesn't offer any type of contingency program?
Only if you're a sponsored driver.
Okay, so you have to have a contracted offer that has payout bonuses specified by, if you go to this race, we'll pay you this much if you get this place.
Yes.
Okay, and so what is more, your salary or your bonuses?
Salary.
See, in motocross, or specifically, like the pro circuit team, you've got guys, and this is the way it's always been. Majority of the riders are only getting $30,000 to $40,000 in salary, but
$100K win bonus.
Right, that's right. So a main event win is 100, depending on contract, 100 to 250. So that's where the actual money is at. The money is not in the salary. The money is in the performance. But it's not that way with RC car racing.
Yeah, because the problem is just the money numbers are so much lower.
That makes sense.
So
yeah,
it's just, if I go win a national,
yeah,
say I go win the 1/8 buggy Roar National, which would be the biggest title you could win in the U.S.
Okay.
My full contingency from all the sponsors paying, it would probably be somewhere around $5,000.
Okay.
So just the money numbers.
Well, that's because, what does this buggy cost? $400? About that? Well, yeah, that's a big difference whenever you're talking about a dirt bike that costs double that plus a zero.
Yep.
Yeah. You like my math there? I was thinking about it. Yeah. So that's cool. And this is okay. So it says engineered in California, but I'm made in Taiwan. Everything is. All electronics are.
Not Kyosho cars. They are made in Japan.
I like that. I almost said German. Japanese engineering.
Yep.
I'm a fan of that. Are there any manufacturers in Europe that are like that, where it's strictly European made?
The X-ray car is made in the Czech Republic, or are they?
Yeah. That's sick. And are there any USA companies?
No.
No. It just costs too much to make shit here.
It does.
It's.
Yeah, the machining, the mold making, everything, it's insane how much it costs here.
Mike, have you not opened this thing up? Oh, you have. Okay. Yeah, this is a cool little package. I like how this comes, and wow, it comes with a whole sticker.
It comes in a bunch of bags. Would you want to go to the dealer and buy your bike in a bunch of bags?
This is that's hilarious. Was that a little bit of a knock? Or
no, I was just saying.
Well, whenever so let me ask you this. Now, I didn't realize that this is kind of like a DIY kit. You have to assemble the car yourself. Do your cars from Kyosho come pre-assembled or in bags like this?
In bags. But see, mine are even more special because they normally come in one big bag with no instructions.
It's just stand by. I have a few more questions in my line of questioning. Do you have factory parts that are not for sale, like carbon fiber or?
Not normally. I do have some special shock caps on my 8-scale right now.
Okay.
But not normally.
Are there weight limits on is it spec racing where your car has to weigh between 5 kilograms and 6 kilograms or whatever arbitrary number it is?
Yeah, we have, a guideline of rules. A lot of the rules we're not super, super close on. The only one that, normally gets people would be the size of their gas tank.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, we have a weight limit, just a minimum, not a maximum.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mike.
I actually didn't have a question. I was going to tell you that car right there. Okay, so it's got an instruction book that is super in depth, and it goes step by step. Hey, here's step 1, step 2, step 3. Guys like Jared, they get a Ziploc bag full of 10,000 screws, parts, no instructions. There you go.
But I kind of like it like that. That's how I did that replica build. I don't know if you saw any of my videos.
Yeah.
But I did it like that. I opened every bag, dumped every screw out, and just...
Did you really?
Yeah.
I just went in the order I kind of felt like it.
So I did a review about a year ago on some, I don't know what it was. It was a little drift car, but it was like that, and it came with zero instruction. You had to like get online, and all the screws were all in one bag. That little car, it was like an 18 scale. That thing took me solid 8, maybe 9 hours to figure out screws, everything. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different, though. I've built a lot of MP9s, so I'm
Yeah.
sure first car, you'd want some instructions. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're obviously a passionate motocross fan and rider.
Yes, sir.
And then with RC, how did you get into RC car racing? Was it like a thing that you just kind of started doing and fucking around with, and then you turned it into a career? Or was it, when did you realize that you were good at it?
Yeah, it was, I was racing motocross, got hurt a bunch on 80s, had like 3 injuries in a row, decided to stop riding, and my parents were divorced, and my mom lived in Bakersfield, California. My dad would come and see me on Tuesday, and there was a hobby shop right by my mom's house. We went over there, checked it out. They had a track in the back. I heard the gas-powered cars. I was like, oh, man, this is like a dirt bike without the hospital.
Yeah.
We went into the hobby store. I was 12 years old, and we're like, oh, man, we want to get the gas car. They're like, oh, yeah, he's way too young. He needs an electric car. And my dad was like, oh, no, batteries are for flashlights. We need a gas car. So we bought a used Team Associated RC10 GT.
Okay.
And I started driving in March of 99. And in February of 2000, I was 100% sponsored, fully travel paid, traveling the U.S. professional driver.
So you literally just picked up as Mike likes to call it, you picked up the transmitter and you were a wonder child.
Yes. It's very weird. My first ever 8-scale race was actually in Kansas City.
Where at?
I got sponsored by Thunder Tiger.
Thundercat? Liger?
Yes. 100% full travel paid for me and my dad. And I had never driven a car. Richard Saxton gave me his practice car. And my first ever race was the Roar Nationals in 2000 in Pleasant Hill at my now father-in-law's old track. And I qualified in the C main, bumped up to the main, and finished second. I almost won. Yep. Brian Kinwald won.
I also didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, small world. You just said, the thing that you hold, what is that called?
The radio.
Hear that, Jeffrey? I heard it. Radio. There's nothing that makes me more mad than when people come up with these, hey, I got me a new transmitter.
Pass me the transmitter, please.
I can't, I don't know why that bothers me so much.
I understand. That's probably like whenever people say that they're driving a dirt bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you want to know something I did this weekend?
Go ahead.
Announcing at Kingsville?
Yeah.
Okay, so I announced a lot of RC car races, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, RC racing, you have drivers. And after the end of the race, you go out and you do what's called corner marshaling, which means you stand at like the cones for the next race, and you're the guy that runs out and flips cars over.
Yeah.
So I don't know what race it was, but they got done, and I said, and race number 9 coming off the track now, and I said, drivers, race number 10, have them ready, guys. We need all those guys back out to turn marshal, just out of habit this weekend. And I don't think anybody heard me, but I asked everybody in the stands to go out and turn marshal for Moto number 10 as drivers from race number 9 were coming off the track.
So, but Moto 10 was 450A.
I was bringing a turn marshal out for you in case you fell over.
With the way that I rode in 450A and Moto 1, I needed a turn marshal.
It wasn't your star performance.
No.
It was no Moto 2 and 250A.
I don't know what my deal was. Actually, let me reframe. I know exactly what my deal was. I did not want to be out there against all those 450s on my 252 stroke because I knew that I was going to get a crap start, and I knew how bad that roost there feels. I was like, screw this. I'm going to let them stretch it out, and I'm going to go out and just hope and wait for people to fall down.
Okay, now I have a question.
Yeah.
This might be an ignorant question, but it's a question.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me that if Eli Tomac was on a 250 KTM at Kingsville, he would not win against 450s?
He would obliterate the 450 class.
You have no excuse. I need you to step up the pace.
I am not Eli Tomac.
Right, you are above and beyond. You are Jeffrey Wilson Crutcher.
God damn it, I am.
Yeah.
Why don't I? I need you at the races. You know what? I'm going to start Skyping you on the line.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have you give me pep talks before every moto.
Okay, so the funniest thing, right after I got hurt,
Yeah.
there was this little kid that lived in town.
Yeah.
And my mom works at the school. So he comes up to my mom. He says, I got a dirt bike, blah, blah, blah. His parents come to me, okay? They say, we want your son, who's just paralyzed riding a dirt bike from being a ding-dong, to teach our son how to ride a dirt bike.
Perfect.
Is that not the most ironic thing ever?
That would be like, similar analogy. That would be like if I had a kid and instead of me teaching him how to drive a car. Hey, it's your boy TJ Hef 101 coming to you live from the studio. What? Here we go. Make some motherfucking noise. Yeah, major key alert. You already know it's KP Bad Wrench with the hottest wrenches spinning in the garage. Tell him how it is, KP.
Gonna talk suspension again with you guys this week, and actually still without touching or adjusting the clickers. Something that is always overlooked, I feel like. People just kind of throw a leg over the bike and go rip. But setting your race sag, and what I mean by this is when you're fully geared, the weight of you, your gear, sitting on your motorcycle with somebody holding you up, how much the rear end of the bike squats and settles. It's something that we actually check every single day because it does change. You know, as a shock gets broken in more, you know, the rear of the bike will squat down. And depending on the style of rider you are or the conditions you're riding in, it can actually really affect how the motorcycle handles. Typically, like with a motocross setting, you're going to run anywhere between like 105 to 110 millimeter sag. It allows there to be a little bit of preload off of the spring so there's more free play. Now, with Supercross, we tend to run, you know, actually what you would consider like a higher number, which is like a 98 to 97. So there's more preload on the spring so that it actually absorbs, you know, hard impacts, like on the Supercross triple, a lot better. This is something you can also tune for, you know, conditions. Say it's a really slick day, dry conditions, you can actually lower the rear of the motorcycle down a little bit to give yourself more traction. Now, say you go to a race and it's just a total mutter. What you want to do is you actually want to raise the rear up because you're going to compensate for the amount of mud and gunk that gets caked onto the bike. It'll actually squat the bike down itself. So you can actually raise the rear a couple millimeters, and that'll help kind of balance everything out. Doing this with also adjusting your fork height up and down, really you can find a good setting that works for you. Maybe you're a person that likes to steer with the rear end more. You want the rear squatted. Or you like to steer with the front more, so you want the rear end a little bit higher and more weight on the front. Can be a very good way to tune for your style of riding or track conditions that day. Whatever you might face, you find out that, you know, setting the sag, changing sag can actually really improve your bike.
Sorry. I thought I put that on mute, but I did not.
Do you know what it feels like to be sitting on this side of the table in a very small room doing what I think is going to be my last podcast because someone just broke in here with an AK. Go. Exactly. I don't even remember what we were talking about. What were we talking about? All because of KP Bad Wrench.
That's hilarious.
Thanks, KP.
So KP was talking about suspension. I'll be honest, I haven't listened to it yet. But the listeners of the podcast have.
So we haven't even heard it.
We haven't even heard it.
But talking about suspension.
Yeah.
let's talk about suspension. What happened this weekend?
What do you mean? Oh, with Adrian? What? No.
Okay, so at the state race,
Yeah.
got Adrian.
Yeah.
His forks lock up.
Yeah.
And then I was telling Jeff before, so there's a guy at my house riding this weekend.
Oh.
His fork tubes fall out of his forks. Have you ever heard that happening? Me either.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of like the guys in?
No. Okay, so he wasn't going right. Yes, he wasn't going up to pace.
Have you seen the video of the guys in Mexico that are riding like in air quotes, motocross race, and the dude hits like this mini tabletop and the forks fall out of the front end? You haven't seen that? I'll find it on. Have you seen it, Jared? I'll find it on Instagram and tag both you in it. It's one of the funnier videos I've ever seen because he literally just ramps off of this 3-foot tall face. And as soon as he comes off of the ground, the front end just shoots out like spring loaded. The front end shoots out from the fork tubes. It's pretty magical. I'm not gonna lie.
Who do you think did his suspension?
I could say names, but I'm gonna choose not to. Yeah. So you don't remember what we were talking about before we were assault rifled?
I don't. I have no idea. Before KP Bad Range came in and just
Jared,
lit
do you
this
remember
place
what we
up.
were talking about? Come in clutch here, sir. Come on.
Something about Skyping before the line.
Oh, I was giving the analogy that would be similar if I, instead of me teaching my non-existent son how to ride or drive a car, I went across the road to a senile old gentleman
Yes, exactly.
that hasn't driven a car in 6 months.
That is correct. Maybe blind too.
Uncle Bob's gonna teach you how to drive the
Right.
car.
Speaking of driving cars,
Yeah.
he's wearing a Volkswagen shirt.
Yeah, what's up with that, Jared Tebo?
Oh, my buddy Scott Speed's getting ready to start his GRC series, so, I'm just giving him some good vibes.
Do you know who Scott Speed is? Yeah, the NASCAR guy, right? He did Formula One.
Yes, he's the last American to have a full Formula One ride. Then he did NASCAR, and now he does rally cross
But he owns like this RC
track.
Would you call it a megaplex, maybe?
No,
No, just RC track.
this is Hobby Store and Track, Speed RC, in Mooresville, North Carolina.
How did that even come about? How did you become friends with Scott Speed? First, it's Eli Tomac first.
Well, Instagram is amazing. So
No, you did not become friends with Scott Speed over Instagram.
I did.
No.
Yeah. He liked one of my pictures. So I direct messaged him. And then I didn't get anything back. I was like, man, no way. So then he posted some picture of RC. So I commented. I said, hey, man, I sent you a DM. And then like 5 minutes later, he called me on my phone. I don't know how I got my number. I never asked him.
That's what happens when you get hooked up with celebrities. His people got with your people.
So those are the perks of being a factory Kyosho RC driver.
Yes, that's the exact, that's like the maximum perkish that I get.
Okay, so more sponsorship questions.
But he is a great guy, We've actually become good friends. It's pretty awesome.
We'll get back to that in a second.
Okay.
Is Kyosho your title sponsor?
Yes.
Okay. So Scott Speed lives where?
Mooresville, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yep.
And he's getting ready to race rallycross this year?
Yep.
In a Volkswagen.
Yes.
Jetta.
Beetle.
Okay. The reason that I asked that, whenever a lot of the motocross guys 4 or 5 years ago started getting into rally, specifically like the Nitro Circus guys, Kenny Bartram bought one of those pay-to-drive rides with, I don't know who the team was, but he was, sure enough, in a Volkswagen Beetle. And he had the whole cowboy Kenny Bartram livery on the whole car, and had number 690, but that wasn't his race number, but he had the 690 on the car. And he did the Pikes Peak race and the whole whatever Pro-Am series it was that the Beetles race in. And he said it's amazing how good the Beetle is for a rally car. Even though it's front wheel drive and it's, that goofy Beetle shape. I'm sure that Scott's racing the new 2017 Beetle, or is he driving one of the older?
He actually drives the full WRC rally car. They are all-wheel drive, and it just looks like a Beetle.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
That's pretty badass. So it's like a
multi-million-dollar Beetle.
It's a full-fledged race car with just a Beetle body on it.
Yes.
Okay. That's slightly
Yeah,
more elevated.
Yeah, he
than
drives for Andretti Autosports.
Okay, yeah, Kenny was not quite on that level.
And you know,
Michael's
the
got his
testing,
mind
the
blown.
early testing shows that their new car for 2017 is going to be pretty stout. So he's a 2-time defending champion.
Have you ever done rally?
I have not. I did get to ride along in his car last year, and it was pretty awesome.
Whenever you were young, did you ever do the thing where you take like Taco Bell, not plates, but you know what I'm talking about, the plastic,
The tray.
the trays. So with a front wheel drive car, you can take Taco Bell trays and lay them down underneath where the rear tires would go, roll forward,
Put your e-brake on.
and then lock the e-brake, and then it's like your front wheel drive and the back end's like ice, but you have traction on the front end.
I've never done that. I haven't.
Maybe we could sometime.
I know. I don't.
Do you have a front wheel drive car?
I have a Ford Flex that's front wheel drive.
Oh, baby. We're going to be doing burnouts in the Taco Bell parking lot in J-Rod's Flex.
It's my wife's car, though. I don't know.
Even better. There'll be binkies and shit flying out of the back end. But only will we do that if. Does it have a moonroof?
It does.
Yes. Okay, only if the moonroof and all windows are rolled back and down, and we have, now that's what I call music, 48, blaring at full volume.
Can't guarantee that.
I'm sure you have, well, if not volume 48, I'm sure volume 47. I mean, what kind of red-blooded American doesn't have now that's what I call music, you know, number 47 in a CD player? It's a serious question.
I don't. I think I'm at 44.
I can't hate on that.
Going back to that's not true. He has rally card. Him and I, he had a
Rally card?
car.
Rally card?
He rally carded. He carded a. He drove a route.
I had a wannabe rally card. Me and Mike used to go get a little wild in it.
Dude, we were ripping. You know how you rip ruts? Ripping ruts? Mm-hmm. We were ripping curbs. We were ripping potholes. We were ripping
bumpers off.
Yeah. There's a field behind my
I had
house.
a Lancer Evo MR 2005.
So there's a field behind my house. And it used to have cows in it. So there, where this one cow laid and like had his babies or whatever, there's a hole about the size of this table, and it's probably a foot, maybe 2 feet deep. So we're ripping through this field one night, and both of us
In the dark.
both of us, our minds were, we were in the zone, you know, and we hit that thing.
Fully sideways.
Oh, yeah. But it really didn't do that much damage, did it?
It didn't do anything. The only thing, it got a bunch of grass in the sidewall
Yeah.
in between the rim and the tire, which was really annoying because then I just always had grass sticking out of my wheel.
And I've never driven a stick shift in my life, but he let me shift while he drove. So he was like, shift. And
Man, that was fun, though.
Oh, yeah.
There was this, like, neighborhood. It was right when the housing market kind of crashed. This neighborhood was being built, but had no houses, and it was like our rally track.
The original Gymkhana.
Yeah. We were way before Ken.
Yeah. Jam, whatever, rally card.
Scott loves Ken Block. He's like his favorite rally driver.
Really? But now they race each other in rallycross, right?
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, there was sarcasm in that one. Okay. I thought you were being serious. Oh. No, they do actually race each other in that. Doesn't Ken do
No, Ken went to Europe to do the world champion rallycross.
Okay.
but his true driving skills have shown.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. Was obviously being friends with Scott, you probably have a little more insight. Is obviously Ken can put on a show with the camera after maybe 10,000 takes or something, but is Ken as good a driver as Scott?
No.
Is okay. Is Ken even remotely a good driver?
Race car driver, no. Driver, all that drifting stuff. Yeah, I mean that's no joke. He's good, but like race car driver, no.
Okay.
I think he's done 2 full seasons in Europe, and I think he's made 1 main.
I didn't even know they had mains. Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the World Rallycross is pretty awesome, actually. It's some crazy good driving.
Somebody asked.
Petter Solberg, he's one of my drivers I like to watch. He's pretty good. He drives a Citroen, sponsored by Monster. It looks pretty awesome, too.
Okay, so talking about rally cars and motocross and everything else. Somebody asked on Facebook today. We posted that you're going to be on the show. They want to know what you're going to do after RC. Rallycross?
I might just start my own podcast show. I don't know.
should.
And try to just travel around.
You should.
I don't know, just
But you could do what would it be? OTST, over the shock tower.
oh yeah.
I prefer over the transmitter.
Oh, I like that one too.
Wow. Wow. There it is.
Falling off of the transmitting tower.
No, it's called the rostrum.
Rostrum. Ha.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mike, did you prepare hot topics for this week?
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk to you about. Not talk to you, but point at you about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any hot topic other than I just wanted to briefly touch on the Supercross, that because you are not the diehard fan of Supercross racing that the rest of us are.
You're
did not
correct.
watch.
I am a diehard motocross racing fan. So instead of staying up late on Saturday night and watching the Supercross race, you know what I did? I went to bed so I could win 250A.
Well, we were busy studying wrist angles.
Whoop-de-doo.
I know way more.
Well, did you do the call? Did you call from the living room this weekend?
Yes, of course I did.
I'm sorry. I was asleep.
Well, you should have tuned in and said hello.
Will you forgive me, Father?
Maybe.
I should have.
Oh, you should have listened to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you about it. You may fill you in?
Yes, please.
Okay, so...
Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm having to talk to Jared Tebo because he knows more about it. Because did you watch the races today? The mains? Yesterday? Okay, you talk to this guy, gentlemen.
Okay, all right.
I studied the races.
Okay, so I can't tell you the story. Well, I'm going to tell you just so you have a background.
You can look at Jeff and I'll look at you, and then all
have
of
a
us will be
triangle.
looking at each other through different people.
That's perfect. It completes the triangle. Jeff, quit looking at me. You're supposed to be looking at Jared. Tomac, 19th, maybe 18th to first.
Actually, he was 20th because only Intidnap and Moose Can were behind him.
There you
going
go.
to Turn 1.
20th. Caught Dungy had the whole shot. Well, did Dungy have the whole shot? Yes. My wife in the background just pipes in here. She's a Tomac fan, told you. She'll stand up for Tomac no matter what. Dungy had the whole shot. He catches Dungy in the lead, beats him by 7 seconds.
Bogle actually got the whole shot, but that's a different story.
Yes.
And then Bogle crashed in the whoops.
Shocker that Bogle would go down.
I know.
That is a shocker. Now, okay, so I have to ask you, Tomac's the points leader. Who's your guy, Tomac or Dungy?
It's obvious Tomac.
Okay, well. Is that from a statistical standpoint or just preference? What Jeff is asking that you can't hear right now is he wants to know if that's a wants to know if that's a statistical answer.
I say basically just because the way he looks on the bike. Dungy hasn't looked the same after Roxon's crash. He's been kind of playing it safe. He's looked uncomfortable. His corner speed has changed.
He just hasn't had that confidence on the bike. Tomac is just feeling it, man. He's got a super good feeling. He's riding that rear brake in those corners. He's leaning a little bit more back in the seat. I'm liking his style. He's charging. And, he's getting good starts. And even when he gets a bad start, I mean, he freaking reeled Dungy from over 10 seconds back.
You know what I think?
And then left him by 6 seconds.
Wow. Here's a theory that I just came up with out of thin air. Perhaps Ryan was so concerned with beating Kenny that he put all of his focus on racing Kenny. So then whenever Kenny got hurt, then he lost his rival, his arch nemesis, to beat. So whenever the guy that you're most focused on, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much those guys say, oh, we're just racing for the championship. No, that's not true. Everybody has an arch rival. You show up to the motocross track, there's one guy that's got your number, one way or another. And that's the guy
I think when you're a professional, it's a little bit different. I know just from the RC side, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that maybe for like a couple rounds.
Well, yeah, no,
but
that's
not like through the whole series.
Okay, now let me just say. So whenever he was so focused on this is just a theory that I've come up with. Let's say that he was super focused on beating Kenny for the first, let's say, 3 rounds. That was the statement that he had to make. Kenny drops out after the 3rd round, and then Ryan won the next 2 races. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think that maybe he just was like, okay, well, Tomac doesn't have it, and he never had to mentally toughen himself up to beat Tomac. So then whenever Tomac did beat him, it was almost as if Tomac pulled the thing off the table. What am I trying to say? Or he pulled the rug out from underneath him as a surprise. Where, I mean, that would be like, it's like, I know that without crashing, I'm going to beat Jimbo Brown at the races. Now, that's not a personal thing. It's just that I go faster than he does. That's pure fact. So if Jimbo Brown shows up to the track and is lighting me on fire, I'm going to wonder, what the hell? What do I do now? How do I beat this guy? Because it's somebody that, you don't have an angle on. I mean, this is just a theory.
I hear you there. I have a different theory, but my personal theory is, right after Kenny's crash, kind of like what you were saying, Jeff, is a lot of, the media was like, oh, well, Kenny just handed you the title, and Dungy was, very adamant saying that wasn't true, and really got, I would say emotional about it, and, just saying how serious injury was and how we don't want to see that. And I think he emotionally connected himself with Kenny's injury in those few races after in the media. And I think it just got him thinking a lot. And being a family man myself, I would assume his wife and him talked about that a lot. And he was probably, ran scenarios through his head. His wife did, and now she's probably talking about retirement to him. So that's coming into his head. And, he had a good points lead, and it was going pretty good, but then he lost a little, and now the risk versus reward just isn't really there. That's kind of my take on it.
What would be more satisfying to you, to see him win and walk out like Villapoto did, or lose and come back and win next year?
I would, I kind of hope he retires at the end of the year. I think he deserves it. I know the pressure it takes to be at the top, and it's, really overwhelming. And, with them, the stress is a lot different than me because their life is on the line. I think he's going to retire regardless. I would have liked to see him win the Supercross series. Tomac has his time. It will come. This Saturday, Dungy got in the lead. I would have liked to see him win, but it just, that was definitely the opportunity he had to win, and it just wasn't there. I mean, the speed wasn't there, the drive wasn't there, and, you can just see in his riding that it's just the fire's burning out a little bit.
I think he's done after this year.
Yeah. I would hope so. He deserves to be done. He's done a lot of good stuff for the industry.
I think rumor is that he's had a contract in his hands for a long time.
Yeah.
But he hasn't signed it.
I don't know. I'm curious if he's even going to ride the outdoors. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so before we wrap this thing up, we were talking about Roxon real quick.
Yeah.
Roxon, his last surgery.
11th surgery.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
Yeah.
I saw some weird stat, something that doctor said most people wouldn't even use a utensil.
That's what I was getting ready to say. And he's, going to come back and ride or whatever, but he's got a dead guy's elbow.
Well, he's going to try to come back and ride.
Yeah, he's going to come back. I'm a Roxon fan, so I'm going to say he's going to come back. He's going to do it. But anyway, he's got a dead guy's elbow.
What does that mean?
He's got a cadaver transplant.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe not the whole elbow. I don't know. I don't get into all that. It grosses me out. But anyway, so here's what I want to know. So he gets up. He comes back. He wins up on the podium. Does he thank Willie Wabash for his elbow? I just want to thank Willie for giving up his elbow so that I can be back here riding. Would you do that? Yeah. And what if that elbow is stronger than the other elbow? Then does he, call up the hospital and I need Willie's other elbow? Or am I, no?
I think you're still 13.
Maybe. Maybe it's just getting late.
I don't think he's going to be able to come back and win.
The sad part about it is I think you're probably right. I think I think he's going to come back, but I want him to.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The hard part's the grip strength. That dislocated wrist is really going to hinder his grip strength, I think.
I didn't think about that. But I say all of. So breaking my back was not as painful and is not. Okay, let me rephrase that. Yes, I have more challenges from breaking my back, but my wrist hurts more than my back ever hurt when I broke my wrist. Because even now when I go to open a bag of chips, my wrist hurts.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what he's going to go through trying to get back riding.
Last night, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've broken both of my wrists.
You have?
Yeah. And my right one, I woke up, it was on fire. Not necessarily on fire because it wasn't a hot pain, but just a dull. It was pretty agonizing. It felt so inflamed. There was so much, just fluid in there that had built up around where I had broken it. It hurt like hell. I couldn't go to sleep for an hour and a half last night.
Do you have plates?
No, nope. Both of my hips healed naturally.
Yeah. See, I've also heard that dislocating is almost worse.
Yeah.
Than.
Well, that was not only did they dislocate their wrist, but they broke the navicular. The navicular is the one.
Where is that?
I don't know specifically, but I've broken mine on my left.
Is it on the outside of your hand?
Twice. It's somewhere in this area on the inside, but it's on the outside of the hand, general. But here's the thing. There's such little amount of blood flow. What happens is the bone can and will die very easily. So what they have to do is they either go in and take it out, and then you're screwed for life, or they go in and try to fix it and try to jumpstart the blood flow back to it. But it's one of those uphill battles.
So Kenny broke that too?
I don't know that, but I'm just saying.
Oh.
That's a career ender, breaking the navicular, and I broke mine twice. I don't know how I got away. I got away with highway robbery on that one.
What does it do? What does it keep you from doing?
I don't know. Listen, I only know about legs, not wrists.
You're more of a leg guy.
I'm a leg
wrist guy.
Yeah, you'll find me on leg day.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to bed. Jared Tebo, thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure. We hope you come back soon.
It has. I enjoyed going over the bars tonight.
Yeah. Look at this guy selling it right there. Yes, I like it. Okay.
Thanks for
Fantastic.
having me, Mike
Yes.
and Jeff.
Where can the people find you on social media?
At Jared Tebo.
Is there an underscore in there?
There might be.
I'm pretty sure that there is. I think it's Jared_Tebo. It sure is. You don't even know your own
Nice.
Instagram name. How many followers do you have?
10,000, I think.
That's right, 10.6K.
Yeah. I got
Oh.
more on Facebook, though. But see, my RC crowd's on Facebook. My motocross crowd's on Instagram.
Okay. So, hey,
Oh.
I actually just
Should I
got
change it to the real Jared Tebo?
you know, you can get verified. You do have enough followers to be verified. I did just get a message from Gage Mass, Josh's son, and I was speaking to him earlier today about how Josh is doing. And I'm just going to read it verbatim. He said that he's got a chance. The spinal cord was not cut anywhere as far as they could see before the surgery. It had a blood clot, and it was bruised up pretty bad, but there's a chance. And Gage did say, and knowing his dad, if there is a chance for anybody, he's the one that could make the most out of it, which is true. I can personally attest to that. Josh wadded himself up at Cahokia, I'm going to say like 12, 15 years ago on a KTM 250 in the intermediate class. One of the gnarlier crashes that's ever happened at Cahokia, and I can't remember if it was both ankles or just one ankle. But that thing is like completely plated in a way that like he should not be able to even walk, and the dude races dirt bikes. And from all the times that I've ever raced with Josh, he's like, I mean, it's literally like trying to pass an iron anchor. I hate him. I hated riding with him because that guy always protected the inside, was as wide as a Cadillac.
He's a pretty big, like, bulky guy, too.
Yeah,
I've raced him a couple times.
He's a bulgy moose. He's a hard motherfucker to pass, and he's always getting good starts. He's always got fast bikes. He's a very competitive
I whole
person.
shot him on my 250, though, and plus 25. I think he was on a 450.
You are Jared Tebo.
But he passed me first lap.
That's fine.
But
Hey, a whole shot's a win. Yeah. There's 2 wins per moto, to the first corner and to the checkers. So, just to get back to Josh, so the spinal cord is not severed.
That's good news.
Yeah, that's huge news. It's bruised, some little tears, etc. But I guess that they cleaned it up in surgery, and they're hoping for the best, but it's, I don't know. See, I'm kind of getting mixed reports from Gage and then this other dude named Garrett, saying that he does have a couple tears. So there's definitely spinal cord damage. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say he'll never ride a dirt bike again. Now, what he'll be able to do with his lower body is another story. Obviously, we all should hope for the best. Mike, I have a question for you. What part of Josh's crash did you see?
All of it.
You saw the whole thing.
Whole thing.
Start to finish.
Yes.
So what I saw was between the landing of the scrub double before the speed check, off of the face, and then there was a tree right in the way of the where he impacted. So I didn't see exactly how he landed, but from my angle, what I saw was third gear completely wide open, going towards a 15-foot wall, hanging off the back of the bike and tilting to the right, like falling off to the right.
Yes.
He takes off with a jump face. If there was nothing there, and he would have been if he would have been under control, it would have been the scrub of lifetimes. Whenever he took off of the face, completely flat. And it took me a second to realize that he wasn't on the bike. I thought he was trying to do something gnarly. But Then as he took off the face, he literally did a half barrel roll and landed completely upside down. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
But
what happened in front of the speed check to cause him to crash? Because it looked like I didn't see when he landed. I just assumed that he scrubbed that double and his foot caught on the face of the double.
okay, see, I couldn't see the face of it because I was on the backside.
Right.
So I only saw after he came over the backside.
Okay.
And he launched. They said they walked it out,
Yeah.
and that they walked it out to be 90 feet, which normally if somebody said somebody flew 90 feet,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no way.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. But I'm saying from the front of the speed check wall
Okay.
and the backside of the double in front of it, what happened between those two obstacles?
Barrel roll.
No. I'm not saying the barrel roll. Okay.
Right.
I'm going in reverse. You see what I'm
You're
saying?
talking about the tabletop before it, like the step up thing. I have no
Yes.
idea.
Okay. That's where it happened. That was where the crash began. From what I saw, it looked like he caught his foot scrubbing that single table, what I call a double, landed, got head shake, and the feet were off of the back, like he caught his foot peg. You know how like if you catch your foot peg, your feet come off, and then you land, sitting on the bike, and as you're coming off the back of the bike, and we're trained now to let go of the bars, your hand rolls off of the throttle the further you come back. So he was taped open on the face. Third gear completely taped. And that's what I, from what I saw him going towards the single completely wide open off of the back of the bike, no feet on the pegs and leaning right. And so I would assume that he caught his foot scrubbing the double in front of the speed check wall. But you didn't see that part.
I did not.
Okay, see, that's the mystery is what happened between the wall and the double.
Not a clue.
That was the gnarliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
You remember we were talking about Zach Bell earlier?
Yeah.
Zach Bell's crash on the triple in Supercross?
Yeah.
To me, if you took that and made it 50 times worse,
Yeah.
that would almost reach
Josh's crash.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Speed check walls. Good thing or bad thing?
I don't think it was either. I think because it's kind of like Reed at Millville or Zach Bell on the triple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that had to be a wall. Like had that happened on any other jump, it still would have been a really bad crash.
I see what you're saying. So
I mean, it could have happened on the finish line, which the 50s are doing.
yeah. Okay.
You know
I see
what
what
I'm
you're saying.
So I don't think it was necessarily anything to do with it.
I'm of the opinion that obviously we didn't have speed check walls 10 years ago even.
I did because I didn't do a lot of the jumps, so they were like.
So every one of them was a speed check.
Speedball.
Yeah. I think that this is a modern thing that has just come out, and it's to slow us down, and I think that we need them because the bikes are too fast. That's why I don't race a 450 because that motorcycle is too fast for me. A 252 stroke is exactly what I need, and I weigh over 200 pounds.
You should go on a diet.
No, I need to be better at riding.
Or go on a diet.
Yeah. So I understand the purpose of the wall. I don't understand the purpose of having a 60 horsepower motorcycle. It's unnecessary. A lot of the industry insiders have explained to me that the reason our motorcycles are the way that they are has nothing to do with market demand. It has nothing to do with cost of the manufacturing of the motorcycles, or because here's the thing: a 4-stroke costs more to make than it does a 2-stroke. The parts on a 4-stroke, frankly, last longer than they do on 2-strokes because of the higher RPMs that 2-strokes operate in. So, a lot of people will say, well, it's cheaper to rebuild a 250. Well, yeah, it is, but you're also doing it 2 times. You're doing it like a 2-to-1 ratio. So, yeah, it's cheaper per purchase, but at the end of the road, you're going to end up paying more for maintenance on a 2-stroke. That's kind of off at the point. My point is there are all these theories over why motorcycles have gotten the way that they are, why they're so expensive, why they're so fast, why they're 4-strokes. At the end of the day, and this is something that's hard for us Americans and even the Europeans to understand, it doesn't have anything to do with our market, and it doesn't have anything to do with our demands. It's about the Japanese pursuit of excellence. And Jared, you may know this more so because you've been to Japan and you raced for a Japanese company. They do not fuck around when it comes to producing the absolute best. It's not about we want to sell the best motorcycle. They want to sell the motorcycle that has more performance than their competitors. They're so much more hardcore about technology and performance than we are, and in the end result, it's gotten us to where we are, to where we can't even ride the motorcycles that they're manufacturing, but to 60% capacity. The average person that goes out and buys a 450 can only ride it to 40%. It's an unrideable motorcycle. It's unnecessary. I'm a local A rider. I can't ride a 450 to its full potential.
Okay.
I mean,
we could not have made it through this podcast without you getting on some sort of rant, and there it was. But yeah, you have some point there.
yeah. I mean, but I've been told that's exactly what it is. I'm not
now on the flip side of that.
Yeah.
From a not pro rider that had a 252 stroke, a 250 4-stroke, and a 450.
Yeah.
No, I did not come anywhere close to riding that 450 to its max potential.
Mm-hmm.
But for me as a hobby rider, it was more fun for me to ride.
You know what would be the
because
best?
It was easier for me to ride.
Okay, you know what would be the best motorcycle for you?
350.
Nope. The Alta.
The electric bike?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Easiest to ride. Easiest to maintain.
If 10 years ago, maybe I would have tried that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is that for your specific type of person, someone that's just going to have fun, isn't necessarily wanting to compete. Today, if they want to go buy the right motorcycle for them, it's the Alta Redshift. Absolutely. It's the easiest to work on. It's the easiest to ride. No gears, no clutch. You just sit on it and twist the throttle.
Okay, I was a little more competitive than that.
I know that, Michael, but
I understand.
I'm painting with broad strokes here.
Yes, you are.
But my point is, the average consumer doesn't need the motorcycles that are for sale. Not at all. So whenever Alta or KTM or whoever can compete with Alta, whenever they truly get the battery pack figured out, they lower the weight, they lower the price, and the price of those motorcycles, which it's going to happen sooner than later, whenever those motorcycles cost less than a 250F but make the same horsepower and are easier to ride, it's over. That's where it changes entirely. The day that the Alta costs the same as a Husky 250 is the day that motocross racing changes forever. Until then, internal combustion engines and transmissions and clutches are going to hold their weight. But the day that battery pack costs less than an engine, it's done. Then it's all combustion engine stuff. As far as racing goes and being competitive, it's out the door. And then every person who will go to buy a motorcycle that just wants, like what you just said, they want the bike that's the easiest to ride, has the best torque, so on and so forth, they're going to go buy an Alta or, name the manufacturer.
Possible. We kind of, in a way, not to the extreme degree you're talking about.
Yeah.
But would you agree, Jared, like with electric 8-scale, since the electronics and the batteries have gotten better and the price has come down a little bit on them, that's been the increase in popularity on a more local level for electric over nitro? Maybe,
but that's way different. Gas-powered 8-scale is much different than a dirt bike.
Yes, it is. I'm referring more to if you're going to spend the same amount of money, for your average guy, the lack of tuning, you don't have to tune them, you don't have to work on them, that kind of thing. Do you think that's why electric 8-scale's gotten so popular these last few years?
Yeah, it's popular in different areas.
That's true too. And maybe it could be the same with motocross.
East Coast is all about electric ACO for some reason.
Yes.
I have no idea why. West Coast, it's dead. Completely dead.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, Midwest is fairly dead.
It seems to kind of come and go because, like,
I think, like, 10-scale racers that want to get into 8-scale, it's a good transition.
yeah.
But, you know, people that race nitro, it's so much different to drive.
It is very
and
different.
the speed control and the motors still just aren't really that good. So I don't know. Going back to the Alta thing, you know, I kind of agree with Jeff. I kind of don't. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd love to ride one. I'd love to see.
You know what
what
you
it
should
feels
do?
Like.
Get on Instagram.
I tried.
I just pulled my headset out.
I tried that. I tried some plugs on there. Didn't get no DMs.
You didn't get Alta?
Nope.
No.
No Alta.
Yet.
I thought because Andy DeBrino, I thought he was going to pull through.
Does he work for him or something?
He's ridden their flat track. He raced their flat track bike and did a whole bunch of testing for them.
Wow.
And they were doing a bunch of posts with them. So I commented on there a couple times.
You thought you were going to get one. You still might. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Alta, if you're listening, I know some speed control settings that you might enjoy.
Oh.
And I can do your testing for you.
LiPo batteries. Yeah.
The LiPos are very dangerous. That could be the downside of the electric.
You know, that's how the BTO KTM trailer burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably a RC battery.
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay, so I have an inside source on that. I'm not going to mention any names here, but a friend of ours that races RC and also mingles among that trailer, he's been in there before, and he said that they've got a charger, basically no idea what the settings are on it. They've got the cheapest LiPo batteries you can find from wherever, soft packs.
Oh, nice.
And they've got like a whole drawer of them, but they plug them in and they just charge them. And they have no idea. Might not even be on LiPo mode. They just...
Those things are dangerous.
I'm not going to say which rider it was or which manufacturer it was, but there's only two that are running battery packs. But one of the pro riders' bikes in Florida, caught fire and melted to the ground inside of a race shop. Now, obviously, my source on that is going to be pretty obvious, but it's just sitting in the bike. They left the little RC car battery pack in the bike overnight, and it literally caught fire and melted to the ground.
And here's what's crazy. Okay, so they spend all this money on the bike, right? I don't know exactly what kind of batteries they're using or how, that kind of thing, but I would think, would you agree, Jared, that with a little extra money for a quality LiPo battery, maybe a little reading of the instruction manual on the charger?
That would be a big plus.
And
James Stewart had Team Orion batteries in his JGR Yamaha.
Did he really?
Point. Yes, he did.
Oh, fun fact.
Actually, not JGR, in his San Manuel.
Oh.
Because Larry Brooks is Cody King's uncle.
Is he really?
Yeah.
This is a giant small world. I'll be darned.
Yep.
Okay. That's enough for me.
Listeners, charge your LiPos in a LiPo sack. And do not leave your cars plugged in overnight.
Boom. There it is.
Well, 2 hours and 3 minutes later, that's it for the OTB podcast, episode number 4. It was a barn burner. Jared, thank you.
Thank you, guys. We burned the barn down.
Yeah. With a LiPo. That we did.
Soft pack, non-roar legal.
So part of the deal, if you pledge to us on patreon.com/overthebars, is all of our patrons get mentioned at the end of the show. And again, I want to thank Ethan Sloniker, number 119 on the Donnell Suzuki. He was our first pledge. He pledged $10 a month to the OTB podcast show, and now here we are, letting it roll in the deep. And also Hunter Clements.
Ronnie Bass.
Ronnie Bass.
Ronnie Bass.
What about Ronnie Bass?
That's Hunter Clements on Facebook.
I don't think you were supposed to out him.
Oh.
I guess only the people that listen to the end of the podcast are going to find out.
There you go. Ronnie Bass.